What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven once again with some Once Upon a Galaxy, and today I am going to be showcasing an absolutely crazy game. And I think part of what makes this game so crazy is the captain is kind of boring. Heroes in your shop have +1/+1 from King Arthur is probably the most boring basic captain that is in the game, but I'm able to do something pretty incredible with him. So let's take a look. We're going to do some post commentary here. Could have gone with Skip the Time Skipper or Electrake. Both of those have a little bit more potential for high roll, I would say, where King Arthur just gives you some nice early game tempo, and Lancelot as the first pickup is about as good as you can get, other than Daughter of Athena into Lancelot. That would be maybe a Lance a little bit better, but this is still absolutely fantastic. And then being able to pick up Evil Stepmother, you know, I'm not going to turn down some villains just because we are King Arthur, and we're able to do pretty nicely on some of our first few combats. And I don't really even think the tempo because there is some argument for playing for tempo and allowing that tempo to then allow you to take more risks and things like that. I think that's like a small part of the story as to what's going on here. But I mean, also just kind of got really lucky. That's going to be a huge part of what we're seeing as well. Katamari is great to complete the quest both for Daughter of Athena and Evil Stepmother. That quest is almost done. We can complete that with a Pan's Shadow. That's going to be the pickup here, which also gives a little bit of extra stats to Katamari, so that's always fun. And then could go for Ring of Valor just for a little bit extra incentive. Now my hero's getting +3/+3. I have not found any heroes since picking up that Lancelot on those opening shops there. We're going to lose our first half heart, and then could immediately heal it back up with Pumpkin Spice Latte, or I could go for Tin Man. I almost always take Pumpkin Spice Latte, but I decide not to here, and it pays off hugely for me, as now I get to pick it up with the Tin Man in tow. And now I can grab a pretty good treasure. Getting to grab a rare treasure right on turn 5 is, I think, really what high rolls me this game. And that really doesn't have to do anything with King Arthur. I am going to complete the Daughter of Athena here as well, though. Could either pick up a Pipe and Hot Pie or Pixie Dust. Okay with the Katamari. It'll give the Katamari an additional +2/+2 on attacks. I don't even remember what I go with here, but yeah, I felt like just playing for tempo makes some sense. And then Lesser Mimic, Lucky Chest, Gold Ring. I don't need the Gold Ring. I don't really love that treasure. Just +3/+3, that's like so much worse than the Pixie Dust. I know it's a common treasure, but Lesser Mimic and Lucky Chest both have potential to like win you the game. And you possibly know that Lesser Mimic is going to be a part of what wins me the game, because probably the thumbnail and title of this video spoil a little bit about what we are trying to do. Here you can see Tink giving +4/+3 on attacks. Sorry, my camera stopped for a second there, but obviously the Tink is really good. Also going to pick up a Sugar Plum Fairy. Both of those are really cool, along with the Pixie Dust. But what is really going to go crazy for us here is that Lesser Mimic chest that I just picked up. Like I said, it's a common treasure, but has the ability to really high roll, and it's about to do something absolutely fantastic. The Galactic Rock gives me co-captain's Courser, and then I have 3 actual high roll captain chances here. So kind of get to redo. It's not really a King Arthur game that's going to get it done, but I've got the option to pick between Sir Galahad, Princess Animal, and Indiana clones, which is just incredible here, because now whichever treasure I pick, I'm going to get 2 copies of, and then in 3 turns, I'm going to get 2 more copies of, and that is going to result in 4 Gloves of Thieving. Every single turn, stealing 4 treasures from my opponent just crazy stuff here, and yeah, now it's a high roll. So doesn't really matter too much what I do until then. I do think dragons are pretty good actually on Indiana clones, just because you wind up getting a few more treasures, and with the Gloves of Thieving, stealing 4 treasures every turn means that we'll be getting +4/+4 on all of our dragons every single turn, or +4/+4 for each treasure hoard. So that is absolutely crazy. I don't wind up taking the Iron Cast Dragon. I think that was probably a mistake, but I will rectify that soon enough. I'm kind of doing some fairy stuff here with the Tink and the Sugar Plum Fairy, so getting those fairy buffs up a little bit is cute, it's cool, but we're going to wind up doing something a lot crazier, and we'll eventually find ourselves in dragons, I believe. I'd probably move out of the Sugar Plum Fairy here, and probably also want to toss the Captain Ahab at this point in the game. It's not really super likely to slay. I'll pick up another Pumpkin Spice Latte. Should be at only 1 heart at this point, but I've gotten 2 Pumpkin Spice Lattes, and the other thing with that is that the Pumpkin Spice Latte plus the Tin Man is really what set all of this off, because that gave me the Galactic Rock, which gave me the Co-Captain's Courser, I believe is how you pronounce that word. But that is really what made all of this magic happen. I find another Galactic Rock here, plus a Royal Invitation from this Trash Panda, and then a Potion of Treasure Finding. My Galactic Rocks are out of sync, so now every turn I'm going to find 1 treasure from the Galactic Rock or the other Galactic Rock, because like I said, they're not in sync there, and then I'll get 2 treasures from my Gloves of Thieving. In a moment, that's going to become 4 treasures from Gloves of Thieving plus 1 treasure from Galactic Rock every single turn. So let's start to pick up some dragons. Let's get some treasure hoard on, and we're gonna start with Bahamut for some pretty huge bonuses right off the rip. So kind of crazy. We're also making a big ninja here with Oberon, and I think we're gonna have the stats to battle through these dolls. Yeah, not too big of an issue. And now here is where we get the Indiana clone's turn. So wind up getting some fairy pancakes right before, that's from a Galactic Rock, and then right before the Indiana clone's trigger. So I wind up getting double fairy pancakes to triple the stats of my bronze characters, plus 2 more Gloves of Thieving, because those were my 3 epic treasures. So yeah, now I am creating 5 treasures a turn, plus the bronze characters are tripled, so my shops are huge because of all of the fairy shenanigans that I got up to. So I'm able to pick up some really ridiculously large statted units this turn as well, in addition to just preparing for some really big scaling. We'll see how far the game goes. I don't think it's going to get super crazy, but yeah, here I get double fortification and double star shield, and yeah, that's just crazy. And then I get a Daisy Jones locket off of the Galactic Rock there. For a second, I think I was confused on how I got that, because the treasures are so far off the screen at this point, but there is a question here. Do we pick up the Fairy Queen, or do we just roll with Lost in the Woods or the Captain Hook? I ultimately decide to go for the Captain Hook, potentially fish the gold version of that, and then speaking of, we're gonna get through the gold version of Bronze Goose, and I think the rest of the game is like pretty straight sailing. I don't think I do any. I think I'm just ridiculously strong for this point in the game. Like, I think it was turn 9, or no, it was turn 10 that I picked up the Bahamut, but still, like, absolutely crazy stats. Here I get to go Fairy Dragon, so now I'm putting those stats onto Captain Hook as well. And yeah, my opponents are lucky if they're able to clear 1 of my cards. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. Yeah, you're seeing that I'm picking up pairs of some of these treasures if my opponents don't have enough. And one thing that is funny about this game is my most common treasure by the end of it is not Gloves of Thieving. because I wind up stealing some treasures multiple times over from the same opponents as we battle through the end of this lobby. So that's pretty silly as well. Don't you think so, Lily? She just came over. She like wasn't in the room, and then I went to start recording, and she came over to say hi. So bless y'all. But yeah, it looks like now we're in the finals, so we're gonna steal these same treasures from my opponent multiple times here, and I believe the scroll is going to be the treasure that we have the most of by the end of the game. The Masterwork Scroll. We pick up 3 here. I don't know that we had any before. I just don't remember. Maybe we had 1 previous to this. Now I could finally pick up the Fairy Queen. There's really not that much left in the game. Could also pick up a Sorcerer's Map to go along with the Captain Hook. I think I wind up picking up the Fairy Queen here. It's not super important. The Fairy Dragon is actually a lot of stats, but I guess I get rid of that. Who cares? Yeah, it's just a high roll for the kind of just incredible, like Indiana clones. I covered this a little bit in the first game I did this season, but they made it really, really good to transform into if you're able to pick up a co-captain. And now it just finds a treasure of whatever level you are, and then is going to wind up doubling that treasure when you hit turn 10 again. So absolutely crazy stuff in this one. I'll have more coming up. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. But for today, thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.